What's up, everybody? I'm here with the first live stream where I'm starting off where I'm going to talk to you about what is going on in the stock market currently. There's a GameStop short squeeze coming on. Is that breaking the entire stock market? We've seen Berkshire Hathaway go down by 99%, a giant gold miner down by 99%, even BMO down 99%, and trading halted. And all of that to say, we're going to figure out what is going on in the market, but I'm going to talk about that with my good buddy Luke here. So Luke, how are we doing today?
I'm good, man. And at the same time, we have all of that carnage happening in the stock market. Bitcoin just popped its head above $71,000 at the time of recording. So I'm pumped to get into it, brother.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I mentioned it a little bit at the beginning, right? We've had Berkshire Hathaway down 99%, gold down 99%, BMO, and then CMG and GME both halting trading, right? So what are your initial thoughts on this, Luke? I mean, it seems like to me, when the little guy starts to come in and starts to buy a bunch of this, we already saw this with the Robinhood fiasco last year, or maybe no, what was it like in 2020 time, when they halted all this trading, and then now we're coming out and we're seeing it again, right? So it seems like there's no free and open markets except for, you mentioned Bitcoin earlier at the beginning, which obviously cannot be stopped. But what are your initial thoughts on people coming in and starting to make some money, the short squeeze that's going on, and then the regulator stopping trading?
Yeah, so it's all happening again. I think we got another tab showing why GameStop is pumping right now. And that was because Roaring Kitty came out and he's like, hey, look, boys, I'm increasing my holdings. He's been buying a ton more of GME. This tweet here says that he right now is worth about $365 million, which is incredible to think about just how much one man is worth. So obviously this is sending the price of GameStop soaring again. Some people are thinking that maybe GameStop's going to go back to its all-time highs. I'm not so convinced, and I would love your thoughts about whether we are going to see a prolonged GameStop pump or whether this is just another, what looks to be, in my eyes, an exit pump for the insiders to get out. But what do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it on the head. I think it's an exit pump for the big dogs to get out. We've got another tab here where it shows, all these institutional holders, right? So we've got Vanguard, we've got BlackRock, iShares, all the big dogs that they're all major shareholders of GameStop, right? So I think here personally that when you see somebody like Roaring Kitty come in, he's sending out all his goons coming in and buying up all of GameStop and all of the shares there. At the end of the day, people just, the big dogs want to stay on top. So they're going to keep the little guy down. So instead of allowing GameStop to continue, they're going to continue to halt trading with GameStop in order to do that and allow the big guys to exit and get, all that money in. But, at the end of the day, it is very interesting. You see Roaring Kitty kind of come in, just send off a couple tweets, right? But BlackRock and all these guys can profit off of Bitcoin or in GameStop and all these other things. But when, somebody else comes in, all of a sudden it's a big red flag, it seems. So yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, I thought you were done. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say it's fascinating to see BlackRock among one of the largest shareholders, Vanguard, also another massive holder, Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund investor, also a massive holder. This just shows that, like you say, Brandon, the big boys are involved, which really kind of has to, make you ask the question about the longevity of this GameStop pump.
100%. And unfortunately, I don't think that they're going to let these, like the GameStop, the AMC stuff, the fiascos that we've seen of the past, I don't think they're going to continue to let those pump in the long term, right? I mean, I think that people are always going to be able to find some of these, maybe little holes in the market, right? I mean, Roaring Kitty kind of made his name by doing that. He found a giant hole. He went into a deep dive and he said, hey, GameStop is ripe for a short squeeze. And that's kind of how he made his name. He sent all his goons at it. And then, from there, we're seeing, him himself, Roaring Kitty, even being up 48% in one day. $85 million in a single trading day, right? I mean, he went out and he published all of these numbers. He's letting everybody basically know that, hey, with all this stuff, like, I still got it, right? Roaring Kitty is back, and he's still making some waves when it comes to the overall like market stuff. And so, BlackRock and all these guys, they have a lot more money and power behind them, but Roaring Kitty's still swinging it around, man. Still showing that he's got a lot of power, and he's got the power of retail behind him.
Bro, Roaring Kitty's got his goons to pump his bags by how much? $40 million in a day?
Yeah. 85 millions in a day, 48%. So it's he's definitely making out like a bandit here and doing well. But he also sends out the bat signal that allows all these other people to kind of get in and do that as well. So but on the flip side of things, right? Once Roaring Kitty does all that, it's coming out that now E-Trade is thinking about taking him off of an E-Trade account, right? I mean, so not only are they halting trading of certain stocks where it's like GME and CME, they are thinking about removing people. So what do you think about this whole situation of removing people from a potentially quote unquote free and open market that we have in the US stock market?
Yeah, so what's funny is in 2021, when we had that very first GME short squeeze, some of my best buddies were actually in on that GME short squeeze, and they wanted to debate me because at the time I said, look, guys, this is not going to end well. They're not just going to let you walk away with millions of dollars of profit and short squeeze the banks and the hedge funds. Like, the big boys are never going to let that happen. They're going to change the rules. And one of the reasons why I cautioned my friends from going 100% all in GME was because obviously you don't own the stocks on platforms like E-Trade or any brokerage firm like Robinhood. I didn't specifically say that Robinhood would turn the buy button off in 2021, but I said, look, centralized exchanges should never, ever, ever be trusted. Okay. So if E-Trade wants to kick off Roaring Kitty because they get tapped on the shoulder by the government, it would 100% not surprise me one bit at all. Okay. This is the problem with, this idea of all of this, financial nihilism. People like Andrew Tate going all in on stocks to hope that one day, the regulators let them short squeeze the banks and the hedge funds and make millions of dollars. I just like, again, this is my biggest problem with Tate. This is my problem with GME. Whenever the little guy starts to win, they can just change the rules. This is obviously why we're both very interested in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the big short. Bitcoin literally is the way that you can essentially suck capital away from the government and put it somewhere where the government can't manipulate it, can't freeze it. I mean, they can turn the buy button off on Bitcoin on an exchange, but if you hold Bitcoin in self-custody, it doesn't affect you whatsoever. So again, I think this is why we're so interested in Bitcoin, Brandon.
No, 100%. And yeah, like you mentioned, I think this is overall just kind of like a bonus for what Bitcoin really stands for, right? I mean, it's the only free and open market that we truly have, right? I mean, they can try to attack Bitcoin in as many ways as they possibly can, but at the end of the day, people are seeing these things, and I think they're going to start to continue to flock, right? You mentioned it pre-show. We're seeing Bitcoin now rip just about at 71,000. And, we're seeing a real positive day. I think a lot of people are going to try to find, a more of I guess, a safety net, quote unquote, because, yeah, like you said, all these big, the stock market and everything like that, as much as it's marketed as a free and open market, it truly is not a free and open market. There's nothing truly like it, like Bitcoin. So I think more and more people are going to continue to go into it, right? Because you don't have to become a hedge fund manager or really do any deep research into any stocks, try to find any holes or anything like that. You can simply just DCA and get your way back into Bitcoin and just set it and forget it. And you don't necessarily have to be worried about any counterparty risk or anything like that. So I guess that brings me to a great point here to wrap things up as to, why we really are promoting self-custody here, right? So, I mean, I've got some great sponsors that are help putting on these events. I've got, Foundation. You can go and get yourself a passport, which you can hold in a secure and safe way. You can hold your Bitcoin in the most private and secure way possible. You can use promo code Green Candle, get $10 off your entire order. And then you could save that seed phrase with a stamp seed punch plate. You can get all that. Use promo code Green Candle there and get 15% off. So I'm saving you some sats while you can do all that. And you can help orange pill your friends by utilizing some Bitcoin trading cards, also using promo code Green Candle for 10% off. So do you have any final thoughts there, Luke, to help wrap us up?
Well, I got some breaking news that I actually want to share with you guys in a moment.
All right, let's hear it. What's the
Before we
breaking?
get the breaking news is actually on your YouTube channel right now, Brandon, because we just released an interview with the one and the only Spencer Schrader, NFL kicker. I want to talk about a little bit something to do with that in a moment, but what I want to talk about first is the importance of self-custody. Okay, get your Bitcoin off the exchange, put it in a great Bitcoin-only hardware wallet like the Foundation. They're a phenomenal hardware wallet, and stamp your Bitcoin into steel. I mean, so many people screw up. They write down their seed phrase on paper. They could be holding millions of dollars, and doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you've got. If it's on paper, obviously you could lose that in a flood, in a house fire. These things happen. Bitcoin is insurance. You should actually treat it like insurance. Spend 28 big ones, get a seed plate, spend $120, get the whole kit. I think it's 100% worth it. But back to the breaking news. I mean, I don't think I even told you guys. I just kind of stealth released it on you. But we dropped an interview that you did with Spencer Schrader, NFL kicker, who is demanding to be paid in Bitcoin. Tell us a little bit more about that, Brandon, and where the people can go to find that interview once they finish this live stream.
Yeah, 100%. So it is on the YouTube as well, so you can find it there. I got it up right here. It's the NFL player makes a huge announcement. I think it's going to be a continuing trend, right? We're seeing a lot of people start to flock to Bitcoin because it's the best savings technology that there is, right? And it's the only free and open market. So I think at the end of the day, more athletes, more people, bigger names are going to start to do that. Spencer makes a great announcement at the very beginning of the show. I don't want to spoil it too much, but he's actually an interesting character because, I mean, kickers in general and in NFL players, they joke that the NFL, instead of standing for the National Football League, it stands for not for long, right? Because a lot of their careers, the average career of a NFL player is about 3.5 or 4 years. So imagine having to get paid maybe 3 or 4 years and trying to make that money last as long as possible. It's a kind of a misnomer, in my opinion, that all professional athletes just make, worlds and worlds of money. Some of the lower end guys, unfortunately, don't make quite as much, but they got to try to maximize all that. And I think that's why more athletes are going to flock to Bitcoin. And you can hear the true, you could hear what Spencer's take is on it in the interview on my YouTube channel. So, yeah.
Check it out, guys. That interview just dropped hot off the press about 25 minutes ago. So if you're watching this live stream, definitely get on there and check out that interview with Spencer.
Awesome stuff. All right. That's it from us here at Green Candle. So thanks, Luke, for joining me. And we'll be back on Friday again. So keep a note. We're going to try to keep the regular cadence of Tuesdays and Fridays here for more live streams. So stay tuned for more content.
See you guys.